When us gamers were kids, most of us had a hero, our favorite. Typical favorites were Mario, Link, or perhaps in more modern times, maybe somebody like Cloud from Final Fantasy, or Ghost. Whoever your favorite, it was always an exciting time when their latest game was about to come out. For me, it was none other than Megaman. I remember the first time I saw Megaman in the video rental store during the mid-80s. Back in the old days, advancement in the game meant you played level 1, and once you beat it, you moved on to level 2, and so on. Each stage increasing in difficulty. Megaman was a new concept for me at the time, in which you could select the boss in which you wanted to fight first. From then on I was hooked. I couldn't get enough, and in my adult years, I still get the occasional itch to relive that. More than once in my lifetime, I've landed a collection of the series, and that's what I'd like to talk about today. This is Mad Marty, and this is a Casual Gamer's review of Megaman Legacy Collection for the PlayStation 4. The specific version of the game was released in 2015, so I'm going to do a very basic pros versus cons analysis, and maybe try to speak to the younger generation of gamer that possibly did not have the opportunity to grow up with the series. Actually, with that being said, there are a couple of videos out there on YouTube of kids today trying to play these games, and quite frankly, it's hilarious, in a good way. I recommend that you look them up. With the game series itself, the biggest pro is the collection has the first 6 Mega Man games for the NES complete in all their details. As I said, in Mega Man, you pick a boss, play the stage, fight the boss, get his power, provided you win, and then move on. That's pretty much the series in a nutshell. And yet, Capcom had me coming back for more, like a kid collecting an obnoxious toy line back in the day. But that's another subject. The games are just as I remember them though, and they're still tough in several spots. It actually reminded me how much I used to use cheats or exploits in these games too. In hindsight, it's kind of sad because I used to think of myself as a Mega Man pro. But to this very day, I still cannot beat these games without fighting the bosses in a specific order, nor can I beat areas of the game without certain power-ups or just flat cheating. Here's one such example, and man does it give me bad flashbacks. In addition to the games themselves, the collection offers a pretty nice gallery section. It details characters and enemies, provides concept art, etc. Basically what we've grown to expect from similar anthologies in recent years. It can keep you wandering around for a while. The collection also offers a challenge mode which adds to the replay value. But let's face it, Mega Man never really had a replay value issue for me because I used to beat Mega Man 2 at least 2 to 3 times a week. More on that later. Going back to the challenge mode though, I'll be honest, I totally suck at the challenge mode. I'm not good at it, I'm never going to be good at it, and it's just not for me. Honestly, it just reminds me of those speedrun guys you see on YouTube. Now, while I like to see the Mega Man series as a way to teach the modern gamer a different kind of challenge, these modern speedrun guys just nuke everything. They're just too good. Not to take anything away from them because I enjoy watching their stuff too, but it does take away a little bit of the flavor. Maybe it deflates me a little bit, I'm not sure. One other side note about the cheating and exploit thing. One nice thing about this collection is it does have a rewind capability, so if you screw up, you can just simply hit the R or L button or whatever it is, and you can actually rewind the game and correct your mistakes. That makes this game a little bit more forgiving, and I'm not ashamed. A couple more positives I would like to say about the series. I mean, again, Mega Man was a little bit different because you were selecting your own stage right out of the get-go. But with each installment, particularly going to Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, each game really seemed to outdo the prior step in the series. Mega Man 2 went from 6 bosses to 8, and I remember the first time I got Mega Man 3 for Christmas. It probably would have been worthy of a viral video about my reaction. That's how excited I got. But It's worthy to note, too, that Mega Man 2 I used to beat 2 to 3 times a week, and it actually led to a drop in my grades back in school. And I got in so much trouble, my parents actually banned me from playing video games during the school week, all the way through high school. True story. But with Mega Man 2, I mean, I wish I could play some of the music on here, but I don't want to risk like a copyright thing. But the scenery, the stages were so beautifully done. And in Mega Man 3, it was amazing because it was the longest in the series, because not only did you have to beat the Mega Man 3 bosses, but you had to go back and beat the Mega Man 2 bosses as well with Mega Man 3 weapons. And it was also the first appearance of Proto Man, who I thought was a pretty rad character early on. But again, Mega Man 2 and 3 was considered the golden age of the series, in my humble opinion. With all the positive things I've said about the series, by the time you got into 4, Mega Man 4 that is, the series began to lose its steam a little bit. While I still consider the bosses as creative and fun to play, the game just didn't seem to have the same kind of flair that Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3 did. But I still consider it overall a pretty good game. By the time Mega Man 5 and 6 came out, I had already moved on to the Super Nintendo. I was more interested in Mega Man X and other kinds of games because 5 and 6 were more tedious to play, the boss weaknesses were not as good, and I just didn't have the same kind of interest. In the entire collection, Mega Man 5 and 6 is probably the ones that I played the least often. I did eventually beat all the Mega Man games listed here, but that was just more of a just to say I did it kind of thing, as opposed to actual interest or excitement. One thing I'd like to do really quick is I'd like to sneak in a quick little fun Mad Marnie factoid regarding the Mega Man series. In every Mega Man game I ever played, as far as, 1 through 4 was concerned, I was terrible about which boss I wanted to fight against first. I never made a good choice. For the original Mega Man, the first boss I went after was Iceman. It's like, hey, he's this little Eskimo guy. He's kind of cute looking. He shouldn't be that tough. Wrong. Actually, I never was even able to get to the guy the first time I rented the game. And when I did finally get to him, he totally handed me my rear. In truth, I actually just got to this disappearing block section, got frustrated, and died. For Mega Man 2, I was like, hey, this guy looks pretty cool. Let's take on Quick Man. This was not a good choice either, and this was the result. For Mega Man 3, it's like, hey, this Snake Man guy looks pretty cool. Now, the results here weren't quite as terrible as some of my previous choices, but needless to say, I didn't get to Snake Man first either. So, again, he was not the ideal boss to go after first in Mega Man 3. For Mega Man 4, I began to call myself a Mega Man expert, and I thought Skull Man would be a great guy to go after first. Now, his stage wasn't as tough as some of the others, and I actually got to Skull Man, but he lanced me as well, until I kind of got used to the game. But anyways, that's just a fun little factoid. The cool thing about Mega Man was I always kind of saw my imagination ran away with itself, and I always kind of saw Mega Man as a bounty hunter, and these were all bandits to apprehend or terminate. And that's just kind of the way I played the game back in the day. It's a fond memory when it gets down to it. Getting back to the cons business, there's two really important ones that I want to point out here. First, I can't really tell you how well Mega Man would translate to the modern gamer. I'd really like to say that Mega Man's a great series and everybody would love it when they pick it up, but the side-scroller and the 3D first-person shooter world, I just don't know how well it would translate in this day and age for a gamer picking it up for the first time today, especially like an 8-year-old that's been playing Call of Duty for the last couple of years. It's really hard for me to say if it translates well. That also being said, with the NES games out there being so available these days through emulators and other methods, can I justify paying $20, $30 for this kind of collection? Especially considering I've done it more than once. Well, this kind of falls into the whole, do I feel like buying a Madden or a new wrestling game kind of itch? And it turns into, do I have a Megaman kind of itch? Maybe I'll pick up the game series again somewhere down the road, especially if they expand upon it in a single collection. But it's hard to say, and it kind of depends on where I'm at in terms of my consoles at that point. For this collection, I'll give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's good, but I can't say it talks to everybody. In any case, I want to thank you for tuning in, and this is Mad Marty, reminding you to do what's responsible, avoid what's irresponsible, make the most of what you got, and get respect. Mad respect. Thanks for watching this collection for Mega Man Legacy Collection, and we'll see you next time.